One of humanity's greatest mysteries is death, which is universal, unavoidable, and infinitely interpretable. People have given death a name, a face, or even a personality in an attempt to make sense of what follows next across history and culture. It can be a cheeky ghost encouraging us to live while we can, a gorgeous queen governing a frigid underworld, or a shrouded skeleton brandishing a scythe. These characters do more than just represent our anxieties. They also serve as mentors, judges, guardians, and even celebrators of the end of life. These 10 iconic depictions of death from all around the world, from the gods of ancient myth to the ghosts of Celtic mythology and the saints of contemporary faith, each show how people have learned to gaze into the dark and give it significance. The Grim Reaper, one of the most well-known death mascots in the world, was inspired by European folklore. The Reaper, a cultural and mythological character, is sometimes shown as a skeleton wearing a long, flowing, hooded black cloak that wonderfully captures the enigmatic and sinister nature of death. He is holding the massive, recognizable scythe, which he uses to harvest souls from the earth in the same manner that farmers harvest or reap ripe crops. With the eerie grace of a shadow or ghost, the Grim Reaper works non-stop, collecting one soul after another. The naked bones and hollow black eye sockets of his skull resting just below his cowl are the last things his victims witness. The late Middle Ages saw the emergence of the Grim Reaper tale. It rose to prominence during the Black Death, a devastating pandemic that killed an estimated 1/3 of Europe's population between 1347 and 1351. The Reaper, a symbol of mortality and the unavoidable fact of the human condition, was born during a time of terror and death. Hel, who rules as the Queen of the Dead in her ominous domain, is a figure from Norse mythology. Hel is the daughter of the giantess Angerboda and the cunning deity Loki. Jormungandr, the world serpent, and Fenrir, the wolf, are her brothers. Hel is shown as half a gorgeous woman and half a rotting corpse. In contrast to her brothers, her dual nature reflects both life and death. Helheim, Hel's domain, is gloomy and hazy. Helheim is intended to host individuals who have passed away from illness or old age, while others are destined for glory or retribution. Although they are treated fairly, the souls there exist in a depressing silence. Gone to Hel sums well the moist, chilly, and depressing ambiance of her realm. Hel serves as a reminder to live life to the fullest before the last darkness and is symbolic of the silent, unexpected death that occurs in an instant. One of the most well-known Lebois in Haitian Vodou is Baron Samedi. He is tasked with welcoming new souls to the underworld and determining who lives and who dies in his capacity as chief spirit of the dead and guardian of the veil between life and death. He can defend the living, if he believes they are worth saving, by using his ability to cure any mortal illness or lift any curse. The Baron is portrayed as having a skull-like face, a long black tailcoat, a matching hat, and dark sunglasses with one lens taken out so he can watch the living. He occasionally wears cotton plugs in his nostrils, as if preparing a corpse for burial, while holding a cigar in one hand and a tumbler of his special spiced rum in the other. Baron Samedi loves food, drink, and sensuous pleasures. He is playful, naughty, and deliciously irreverent. He offers a consoling message that death should not be dreaded but rather welcomed as a part of life's magnificent celebration, reminding mortals not to take life too seriously. Originating in Hinduism, Yama, also known as the god of death and king of hell, can be found in Buddhist, Jain, and East Asian traditions. He is frequently portrayed as a deity with dark or blue skin riding a massive buffalo, signifying his control over death. He holds a mace, which stands for justice and authority, in one hand and a noose, pasha, to trap souls in the other. His realm's entrance is guarded by his two four-eyed dogs to prevent anyone from entering or leaving. As the first person to die, Yama ruled the underworld and administered justice to all creatures, according to Vedic tradition. Before determining each soul's destiny, punishment for sinners, peace, or rebirth for the righteous, he considers their actions. Yama's tale serves as a reminder to people of the fleeting nature of life and the value of leading a moral life. Mexico's Saint of Death, Santa Muerte, is the result of a special fusion of Spanish Catholicism and indigenous spirituality. She is depicted as a skeletal figure and is dressed in ornate, multicolored garments that represent various facets of life and death. She is sometimes shown as a female counterpart of the Grim Reaper, holding roses and a rosary or a globe and scythe to represent her control over the world and death. Santa Muerte is the personification of death itself rather than a specific individual. She is connected to the owl, which represents twilight and wisdom. She is seen by devotees as a celestial go-between who shields and consoles individuals in need. Millions of Mexicans revere Santa Muerte as a kind and strong spiritual ally, despite the fact that her devotion is contentious and occasionally connected to criminal elements by authorities. 1. Archangel Azrael, the compassionate angel of death. One of the 4 archangels, Azrael is referred to as God's angel of death in both Jewish and Islamic religions. Azrael is frequently depicted as a kind mentor who escorts souls from this life to the next, rather than as a terrifying character. According to some stories, Azrael was brandishing a sword or a scroll with the names of the living on it. Azrael writes a person's name on the scroll upon birth and erases it when they pass away. The impartiality and divine justice that control life and death are symbolized by this deed. According to some beliefs, prophets and saints like Moses, Muhammad, and Rumi are personally guided by Azrael, who manifests as radiant beauty. The eternal cycle of life and rebirth, as well as spiritual transformation, are personified by the archangel. The Shinigami, Japan's gentle guides to the afterlife. The Shinigami are friendly spirits that invite human souls to die, according to Japanese folklore. Shinigami, in contrast to Western-style Grim Reapers, are typically invisible and only visible to people who are near death or possess extraordinary abilities. The mythology, which first appeared in Japan during the Edo period, 18th to 19th centuries, illustrates how Japanese society views death as a normal aspect of life. When a person's time has come, the Shinigami softly invite their spirit to pass the boundary between life and death. They do not kill. Working in couples, they provide consolation and serenity during the dying process by serving as spiritual mentors rather than enforcers. One. The Banshee, Ireland's weeping harbinger of death. In Irish folklore, the Banshee is a spectral messenger of death with roots in oral tradition and early Irish literature. She usually appears before to a death in their line and is connected to specific families or clans. The Banshee, described as a woman with long, flowing hair and a white or gray gown, might be frighteningly wild or breathtakingly lovely. Her eyes are supposed to be red from constant crying, signifying grief and the transience of existence. Sometimes heard, sometimes just felt, her keening howl is a warning and a sorrow. The Banshee's shriek was widely dreaded, but it was also seen as a sign of love and loyalty that gave families time to grieve. The Scythe, the fairy hound that howls for the dying. The Scythe, a dreaded death harbinger and fairy hound of the underworld, originates from Gaelic tradition. The animal is described as a huge silent dog with green fur that resembles moss. As it gets closer, it just lets out a horrible howl, 3 howls that are a sign of impending doom. The first howl forewarns, the second instills fear in listeners, and the third seals their doom, according to Celtic tradition. It was inevitable that anyone who did not find shelter by the third call would perish. As a spiritual collector rather than an agent of evil, the Scythe represents nature's role in regaining life. It expresses the Celtic view that death is merely a natural and magical aspect of life's cycle. The Caras, Greece's blood-soaked spirits of violent death. The Caras are the daughters of Erebus, the deity of darkness, and Nyx, the goddess of night, according to Greek mythology. They represent the chaotic and violent aspect of death. The Caras are blood-soaked, flying ghosts with sharp weapons and gnashing teeth. They descend upon the dying to take their souls, and each symbolizes a horrible kind of death. by epidemic, battle, or execution. The Keras, sent out in times of disease and war, represent the harshness and certainty of death, particularly in human struggle. They act as terrifying reminders of the violence that permeates life and the fine boundary that separates divine judgment from mortal life.